Close enough, call this meeting to order for Monday, January 7th, 2013. I want to welcome everyone. As we go look at the agenda, got a few things. I understand that we want to consider a executive session during part of this meeting. Is that what I understand?
I think it's been taken care of.
Well, we still want to have a, probably not be brief. I mean, if that's the pleasure of the board.
I'll make a motion for closed session, conclusion of the regular business for the purpose of personnel.
Everybody? Okay. Everybody?
Just the board, I think.
Essentially, violation of state law.
I'm sorry, is your motion going to closed session now?
No, just basically to
Amend the agenda.
Amend the agenda.
To add it to the agenda.
Add it to the agenda. Board, have a second? Ms.
I feel like everybody should be present and the same to the young manager.
I'm whatever the board wants it. I just know that, talking around, most everybody, we were going to talk about the
And you think that
transition.
takes care of that?
Well, I understand, yes, that this was presented to us, and if that's the if that is satisfactory to the board, then obviously it would be unnecessary to make it better. Obviously, it's a board decision.
Right.
That's my point, is it's a board decision on the timing.
Exactly.
And does the board want to discuss it in executive session?
That's the motion.
I think it's already been taken care of.
If that's,
The purpose of it. Yeah.
if that's the case, then that's where we're at.
We got a date? Be happy with.
What we're talking about is that we're looking at a transition period, to Mr. Greenwood, to Mr. Cave, and, the letter's been presented here right before the meeting saying that, Warren, Cave, and I have reached the conclusion that Warren be ready to assume the duties of town manager effective April 1, 2013. Accordingly, I'm giving notice under my contract that effectively my last date with the town will be March 29, 2013. And it appears that that is a timetable that the board is satisfied with. I'm not sure, maybe John can help us with that.
Yeah, that's what it means then. You certainly can accept it, I mean, I don't know if it's necessary.
It's not necessary, you get.
So what if we didn't accept it?
Yeah, I don't think. You can accept it. You can show up on April 1st. So, I bet it'd be really hard to find.
Yeah, personally, I think, because obviously it is a decision of the board if they want the time. Presumably earlier.
This Mayor, is this not a decision the board would be making?
Well, the board would end up being making it one way or the other, either by acquiescence or by action. I mean, wouldn't that be the? Well, we obviously haven't, there's a lot with Warren we haven't talked about. They want to get paid for his new position. Something like that.
I think that's in the letter.
I mean, that's obviously, that's something we have
February
to do.
board meeting.
But given the presentation of this letter, it appears to me that we're not going to be wanting to go into any.
I think it's settled. That sounds
There's a motion on the floor.
There is.
And you don't require a second.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, a second is required in the town's proceeding.
Robert's rule don't require the town to do it.
But don't we adhere to Robert's rule?
That's not a good adoption.
That's like my motion ain't going anywhere.
Okay. All right. All right, now we're off and running. A couple of things. I was notified this morning that, they lost Grady Jones. And Grady Jones, Billy Farrell, veterans, Sam and all, know even more than me. There was a time when Grady Jones was an integral part of the town. If you didn't know where a utility line was, a lot of times Grady could tell you where it was. I did not independently look at the arrangements. I got the email this morning. If it is not too late, I would hope that the county would be able to, in some way, be recognized and give some recognition to the family. It's Lonnie Haven's grandfather.
Oh, I saw that on
I don't know that, I mean, I'm sure somebody does. I know that Grady was of an earlier generation, but he put a lot of.
I'll be up for that.
And we've got Jessica Waters with us, the editor of the Franklin Press.
Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you. We look forward to a good relationship. Got a couple of people being heard. Martha Holbrook. Okay, we got minutes of the December 3rd, 2012 session been passed out in your agenda. What says the board?
I approve, I make motion to approve.
Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hands. Now we're there. Martha, I had to get the minutes done.
Thank y'all for letting us speak. It was discussed at a recent meeting that an event guideline committee would be established. I would like to request that a couple of downtown merchants be on that committee. These guidelines will be very important in the events that we are planning and would like to be a part of developing those. We also will be presenting a schedule of planned events for 2013 for the downtown merchants. This schedule won't include all events, but it will be a good start. These events will be scheduled in between the calendar of events that's already posted. The two things I would like to.
Okay, who's best to address their request to be part of the group to come up with the guide?
Yeah, that may be me, Mr. Mayor. Martha, what we've actually done is we're basically compiling what rules and regulations we already have. Well, once we get all of that summarized, then we're going to present it to the board. And at that time, that's when we'll open it up and realize if there's new things that need to be added or things need to be changed. That's right now we're going through the process of making sure what we have, putting that in a recognizable format for folks to understand and developing that package to get to the board. So we will have a time for that to actually be included.
We just want to make sure that if we have questions or comments, that we have an opportunity.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Martha, when we had our meeting with Linda and what time frame was it we told? Was it February or March to get your schedule in? I can't recall.
We're going to be working on it right now, so we were planning on maybe February being able to present something. And like I said, it won't be a complete one, but it's going to be some events that fit in between the events that are already on the calendar.
Just need to get it in advance long enough so that the board has a chance to get it and approve it.
Sure.
Good. All right.
And we'll try to get that next meeting. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Dan Williams?
I was here last month and I had a question, and it seemed like we suddenly ran out of time. I never did get an answer. Maybe we could squeeze in the answer this time. And I have a second question. And the first question was, I asked what you all plan to do with that vacant lot that you bought for $2.5 million. And I never did get an answer. And the second question, it seemed like Lamar Sprinkles took the words right out of my mouth. He was asking why you couldn't take town hall and run it out to the liquor store. And it seemed to me like that would have cured two problems at one time. And it just seems to me like that'd make a good lawyer's office or real estate office or CPA office or dentist's office or doctor's office. What do you all plan to do with town hall, the old one?
All right, thank you, Dan. You've asked two good questions, and we can't give you a concrete answer on either one of them. The board has not reached a consensus on the future of either the Whitmire property or Old Town Hall. Yes, it is something that we're going to have to address. I believe the board is kind of feeling like with the market as depressed as it is, it's not the perfect time to go ahead and be putting a couple of prime pieces of real estate onto the market in the hopes that we can regain a better return on our investment whenever things hopefully pick up soon. But yes, they do need to be useful and presumably in such a way as to get some money back into the town coffers. You asked a good question, but we just can't give you an answer.
It seems like a real waste of time just sitting there. And
it may be that we're not making the right decision as far as not having done something with it, but we cannot answer to you tonight what we're going to do with those properties. So thanks for asking.
But no idea about the property. Last I heard you're going to get a out-of-town bunch to do a study on it. Did they ever do that?
Some of us have just wanted to do that. That's not been the consensus of the board, man. There's nothing that we can report as to the future of those two properties. Thanks for asking. Okay. We've got some new business here. Linda, street closing request for 2013.
Mayor, Board of Aldermen, this is pretty much the same street request that we asked last year, starting with April Fool's Trail Days and running all the way through Winter Wonderland. We're only asking for the side streets and then Main Street to be closed for two events, and that's the Folk Festival and the rest is much the same.
Linda, all these are things involved. Do we have any requests from other agencies or other groups yet?
No.
If they did, you bring those to us.
Yes, right, yeah, yes.
Right.
No one else has come and
Okay,
asked.
thank you.
Okay. I think we need to do those.
I make a motion that we approve the list that's been submitted by her group for the street closure.
Motion, is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you. Resolution opposing legislation that provides for the forced taking of the municipal water system. Sam?
I think everybody has had a chance to read this, the attachment that came from the League of Municipalities. Basically, what they're referring to is the sort of the undeclared war going on over the city of Asheville and some members of the General Assembly having to do with the operation of the water system. It's a back and forth, a tug of war, whatever you want to call it. As far as can be told, there is going to be some form of legislation introduced by one of the representatives from the Asheville area in the new open session of the General Assembly. It's designed, the whole controversy is a local issue, but it has state ramifications if the General Assembly puts itself in the position of being able to force municipalities and counties to divest themselves or conform to some state standard about the control and operation of the water systems. What the League is asking for is support from all the municipalities in the state so that for their legislative lobbying program, they can point to how many owners of water systems are in fact opposed to the state getting itself in a position of intervening with water supply source utilities in the state where they really don't have either a legitimate concern to be, nor do they have a financial concern. But the proposed resolution for your consideration is attached at the end of the item.
Now, I've got 2 hard copies here ready to sign if the board so requests.
Yes. We're simply asking that the board approve these and forward them down to Raleigh, to the league staff, so that they can be used to help educate the General Assembly members in the lobbying effort to curtail this sort of attitude.
Basically, this started out as Asheville's municipal system, and now through government intervention, they're required to merge it or sell it or otherwise.
Required to give up their interest, actually, and there's a lot of perilous issues involved in that, none of which the state should be involving itself in.
State legislators supposed to approve and got it voted in.
We got a battle with the water system, so it's still mine.
Well, we know that.
Yeah.
It's just called who it is.
I don't know who's gonna want to buy our system, but we're not really looking about protecting us, but we're just saying that ain't right what happened over there, right?
Correct.
Well, I made an offer to buy it from Ed Henson about 10 years ago.
How much was he gonna make? You were gonna make him pay, you was what you were making, I remember that discussion.
I believe it sets a precedent, this thing going through a set of precedent that they can just continue to do whatever they want to with the municipal water systems. I make a motion that we approve this.
Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hands. I'll be glad to sign it down. This needs Janet's signature. Derek, we got a rezoning request.
Yes, sir.
Avenue.
I apologize for not having it in the electronic copy of your agenda packet, but I have provided each member of the board with a packet that has the rezoning request. And basically where we're at right now in the process with that piece of property, it's at 142 Harrison Avenue, and you recommended it to the planning board at the last meeting. Right now, all we're doing is, in accordance with the UDO, just requesting for a public hearing to be set for that rezoning.
Is something we expect in the February meeting?
I make a motion to for public meeting in February.
7:05. Early on the agenda, 7:05, 7 p.m.
If it's okay with the Aldermen, we've requested 7:05, if that's okay with you.
That's fine. Who's got the motion? Joyce made a motion, got a second. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Now, recommendation for vacancy on the town planning board.
Also in that packet, which we didn't get on the electronic copy, is the recommendation from the planning board. What you have in front of you is 2 applications that were submitted after we have advertised these vacancies extensively on our town website. We received 2 applications, both from very qualified members of our community. Both were felt by the planning board to be an excellent fit to our board. Both are required to come from within the city limits. And tonight, the planning board recommends to the Aldermen to fill the vacancy for the regular member that go to Mr. Justin Setzer. Those of you that don't know Justin, he's the county GIS administrator, very familiar with the GIS system. He and I work extensively together with planning and zoning issues. He's very knowledgeable, not only about the county, but the GIS system as well, and that's something that we feel would be an asset to the planning board. Also, Mr. Peter Moscow, again, he's His reputation speaks for itself. He's served on many local zoning boards, had local government experience, and we feel also that he would be a very qualified candidate to fill the vacancy that is in our alternate member position, and this would be for a 3-year appointment. And again, he is from within the city as well. So those are the two candidates that are before you tonight, and again, the planning board recommends that if you see it favorable to appoint Justin Setzer to fill the vacancy as the regular member, and Mr. Peter Moscow to fill the vacancy as the alternate.
I'm sure Peter's a good fellow. I'm not sure I met him. Oh, yeah, I'm not.
I'll second.
Anybody know Peter? Who? You met him?
Met him one time when he turned the application in.
And I just would hate for this to be a total joke or something that we put in somebody didn't exist.
Right, yeah, I think he brought in his application, seemed like a pretty stand-up guy.
All right.
Definitely encouraging.
Thank you, Steve.
He's presently a real estate broker in Bedford, Franklin,
Yes.
so that's what it said, 2005 present.
All right. So since you got a motion?
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. All right, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, one more thing. Dave Jones from the ETJ, his seat will be, his term will expire at the end of January, and he's, again, the ETJ is put on by the county, but he's requested to continue his service to the town. So I'm going to make the recommendation to the county commissioners to reappoint Mr. Jones to the seat. He's done a fine job in that position.
Doesn't that recommendation have to come from the board here?
I think.
If we recommend, but you do that yourself.
Now, I think that the county recommendation comes from the county commissioners. They're who put the ETJ members on.
They approve the member.
Don't we make a,
There's no harm at all in having.
Yeah, if you-
Instruct there to make that.
Right.
yeah, on our behalf, you're going to recommend?
Yes,
Okay,
certainly.
that sounds good. I agree with that.
Waiting for a prize?
I'm hoping for at least a cookie.
You're saying that Joe,
Cookies in the kitchen. Cookies in the kitchen.
Nothing to require.
What else you got, Derek?
That's about it. It's about kickoff time, I think.
No?
Very close, getting close.
Well, that's just till they start selling goods. All right. Number 5, legal harassment policy. John Jr., what you got?
Mr. Mayor, Ashley Hyder has continued to diligently implement the personnel policy as written, and on occasion she runs into gaps, ghost policies that don't quite exist yet. And one of those we're trying to make real, and it's in front of you, a proposed version of it is in front of you now. There were references in a couple of different places in the personnel policy to the workplace harassment policy that had not been written. And so this is an attempt, this collaboration between Ashley and myself to draw a straightforward, fairly bare bones harassment policy for you to put in place and implement as part of the personnel policy. And I think it's pretty straightforward. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer for Ashley.
Well, it's procedurally, how would you see this?
Well, again, it's part of the personnel policy, which is always subject to change and control by the board. It really just requires approval of the policy as written, or if you would like to see changes, we can certainly make them or consider them, but it's in the discretion of the board whenever you're ready to adopt it. But I would recommend that you do need to have such a policy as part of the personnel policy.
Can't believe we don't have.
Yes.
Well, it's just those things.
And that's part of the process, we're catching those things.
Can we pass this tonight?
Yes.
It's pretty straightforward. Not seeing it right here.
It's standard.
I make a motion to adopt it as written. I'll second.
Ron's got a motion, Roland got a second, Carol's got a piece for any discussion. All those in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? No harassment. Yes, it's not always like this, but we're down to short straws. Any other business for the board? Motion to adjourn? Yes, that's enough vote. Get it over.